The engagement ring was still in my hand when Claire Whitmore told me she had chosen her family's empire over me. I stood beneath the cold lights outside the Whitmore mansion, my fingers closed around the small velvet box. Tell me you don't mean it. Claire stood several steps away, dressed in the white coat I had once loved seeing her wear. Her face was calm, but her hands were shaking. I mean every word. I opened the box. The diamond caught the light between us. You asked me to marry you. I know. You begged me to promise I'd never take this ring off. Her eyes dropped to the diamond. That was before I understood what loving you would cost me. Those words hurt more than any insult could have. Behind her, the Whitmore mansion rose like a palace. I'd always felt small there. That night, I finally understood why. Your father? Claire didn't answer. I already knew. Victor Whitmore had spent months reminding me that I wasn't good enough for his daughter. I had ignored him because I believed Claire would stand beside me. Then Claire lifted her eyes. Dad offered me control of the company. My fingers slowly tightened around the ring. And the price is me. She swallowed. If I marry you, I lose everything. You're not losing everything. You're choosing between money and me. You don't understand. Then make me understand. Her lips trembled. I spent my whole life preparing for that company. It's my family's legacy. And what am I? Claire looked away. That tiny movement gave me the answer before she spoke. You're the part of my life I can't afford anymore. I wanted to laugh. Instead, I felt something inside me crack. So that's it. I don't want to hurt you. You already did. I stepped closer. Look at me, Claire. Just once. Don't look at the mansion. Don't look at your father's company. Look at me and tell me you don't love me. Her eyes finally met mine. For several seconds, neither of us moved. Then she whispered, I don't know how to choose you. That was the moment I understood. She wasn't asking me to wait. She was asking me to disappear. I closed the ring box. Then don't. Her expression changed. Daniel, no, don't make this harder. I slipped the box into my coat. I wanted you to choose me because you loved me. I won't spend my life begging someone to see my worth. She took one step forward. I waited. Maybe some foolish part of me still believed she would stop me. She didn't. I walked away. That night, I lost the woman I thought I would spend my life with. I didn't know that I was also losing the man who had spent years trying to prove he deserved her. 7 years later, I no longer carried that ring in my pocket. I kept it in a drawer. There was a difference. The ring wasn't a promise anymore. It was a reminder of who I had been. The man who stood outside that mansion had believed love meant holding on no matter how badly he was hurt. I had learned differently. Now my life was quieter, and somehow it was fuller. Daddy! I turned just as Lily came running across the apartment. Her backpack bounced against her shoulders, and one of her shoelaces had come loose again. Slow down. She crashed into me anyway. My arms caught her. You're going to break my ribs one day. She giggled against my chest. You're strong. That's convenient. Your backpack weighs more than you do. She pulled away and pointed toward the kitchen. I made you breakfast. I stared at the plate. 2 pieces of toast sat beside a fried egg that looked more like a small explosion. You made this? With help. From who? She grinned. The internet. I laughed. 7 years ago, I had thought losing Claire meant losing my future. Then my best friend Daniel died, leaving behind a little girl who had nobody willing to take responsibility for her. I didn't hesitate. I became Lily's guardian. Over time, something deeper happened. She stopped calling me Daniel. She started calling me Dad. I never corrected her. Blood had never been what made me stay. Love did. That evening, I adjusted Lily's coat before taking her to the Whitmore Foundation's charity gala. I don't want to go. You don't have to stay long. Can I eat the tiny cakes? All right. And 3, 2, 2.5. I smiled. You drive a hard bargain. The gala was held in the same world Claire had once chosen over me. Crystal lights hung above the ballroom. Expensive suits filled every corner. People smiled with their mouths while calculating with their eyes. I didn't belong there anymore. Or maybe I finally did. My company had grown from a tiny office into a serious business. I had learned how to negotiate, how to lead, and how to walk away from people who didn't respect me. I was talking with an investor when I heard a familiar voice behind me. Daniel. My hand stopped around the glass. I turned. Claire. For 1 second, 7 years disappeared. She looked almost exactly the same. Elegant black dress. Perfect hair. Calm posture. The heiress. But I wasn't the man she had left outside that mansion. Claire. Her eyes moved over me. My suit. My watch. My confident expression. Then she smiled faintly. You've done well. So have you. She gave a small nod. I heard your company was doing well. It is. I suppose we both moved on. The words sounded strange coming from her. I didn't answer. A small voice suddenly cut through the crowd. Daddy. I turned. Lily was running toward me. Her face lit up when she saw me. I opened my arms. She jumped into them. I caught her and laughed as she wrapped both arms around my neck. You promised you wouldn't run. I forgot. You always forget. She kissed my cheek. Claire had gone completely still. Lily noticed her. Who's that? I glanced at Claire. Someone I used to know. Claire's lips parted. Used to know. Lily looked between us. Then she reached for my hand. Can we go home, Daddy? Claire's face lost every trace of color. Her eyes dropped to Lily's small hand wrapped around mine. As she looked back at me. Not with pride. Not with the cold confidence I remembered. With shock. Confusion. And something far more dangerous. Regret. Her voice came out almost as a whisper. You became a father after I left you? My fingers closed gently around Lily's hand. I didn't answer, because suddenly I understood something. Claire wasn't looking at the man she had abandoned anymore. She was looking at the life she had missed. And for the first time in 7 years, I saw fear behind the heiress's perfect smile. Claire's question followed me long after I left the gala. You became a father after I left you? I had heard those words before reaching the elevator. I just hadn't expected them to matter. At least, that was what I told myself. The next morning, Lily sat across from me at breakfast, swinging her legs beneath the chair. Daddy, are we going to see the lady from last night again? I nearly dropped my coffee. What lady? The pretty one. That's not a very useful description. The one who looked like she wanted to cry. I stared at her. Children notice things adults tried desperately to hide. No, we're not planning to see her. Lily pushed a piece of toast around her plate. Can she come to my school? No. Why? Because life is complicated. She frowned. That's your answer whenever you don't want to explain something. I smiled despite myself. You're getting too smart. I learned from you. That was Lily. She could turn an uncomfortable morning into something warm without even trying. I thought the subject was finished. It wasn't. 2 days later, Claire walked in my office. I was reviewing a contract when my assistant opened the door. Claire Whitmore is here. My pen stopped. Tell her I'm busy. Before my assistant could move, Claire stepped inside. I heard that. She wore a gray business suit, but there was nothing cold about her expression anymore. You shouldn't be here. I know. Then why are you? Her fingers tightened around a small paper bag. I brought something for Lily. I leaned back. You barely know her. Then let me get to know her. No. The answer came too quickly. Claire's eyes hardened. You're still angry. I'm not angry. You are. I closed the contract. Claire, you don't get to walk back into my life because you suddenly feel curious. Her jaw tightened. I know. That answer surprised me. She placed the bag on my desk. It's just a book. I didn't touch it. What kind? A children's book about courage. I almost laughed. You're giving my daughter a book about courage? Her expression softened. I didn't know what else to bring. Before I could respond, my office door opened again. Daddy. Lily rushed inside. She stopped when she saw Claire. Oh. Claire crouched slightly. Hi, Lily. Lily looked at me. Is this the pretty lady? I closed my eyes for half a second. Lily. What? Claire actually smiled. Yes, I'm the pretty lady. Lily accepted that answer immediately. What did you bring? Claire handed her the book. Lily's face brightened. Thank you. She hugged Claire before I could react. Claire froze. Her hands slowly came around Lily. I watched something change in her expression. It wasn't jealousy. It was longing, and that made me uncomfortable. Later, while Lily read in the corner, Claire finally asked the question she had been holding back. She isn't your daughter. I kept my eyes on my laptop. No. Her mother? She's gone. And her father? I stopped typing. My best friend, Ethan. Claire's face fell. I'm sorry. He died 7 years ago. The same year Claire left me. The same year my entire life changed. Before he died, He asked me to protect Lily. Claire stared at me. You weren't related to her. No, yet you took her in. Someone had to. Her fingers rested against the edge of the desk. And you never thought about how difficult that would be. Every day. Then why? I finally met her eyes. Because when someone gives you their child and asks you not to let her grow up alone, you don't calculate the cost. Claire went quiet. I could see the question behind her eyes. Why had I been willing to sacrifice everything for a child when I hadn't been willing to sacrifice myself for Claire? The answer was simple. Lily had never asked me to prove my worth. She only needed me to stay. Claire left shortly afterward. I thought that would be the end of it. Then my CFO called. We have a problem. What kind? Whitmore Holdings just pulled 2 investors from our expansion deal. I stood. What? Victor Whitmore. Of course. By afternoon, another problem appeared. A business blog accused my company of hiding financial losses. The information was false, but the timing wasn't. Someone was trying to damage me before my company became strong enough to challenge Whitmore Holdings. That evening, Claire called. I almost ignored it. Then I answered. Your father is attacking my company. Her breathing changed. I know. You know. I heard him talking to the board. Then stop him. I can't. You're his daughter, and you're the man he wants destroyed. I leaned against the window. Why are you warning me? Because I don't think he's afraid of your company. My eyes narrowed. Then what is he afraid of? She paused. I don't know yet. Neither of us spoke for several seconds. Then Claire whispered, I think my father lied to me. The call ended soon after. I didn't know what she had discovered, but Claire did. That night, she searched through old family records. She opened archived emails. She checked old phone logs. Then she found something she had never seen before. A message from me. 7 years old. Please meet me tonight. I'm not giving up on us. Claire stared at the screen. Another message appeared beneath it. I'll wait until midnight. Please come. Then another, and another. Her hands began to shake. She had never received any of them. The next morning, Claire confronted Victor. I wasn't there. I never heard the conversation. But she told me later what happened. She placed the printed messages on his desk. You told me he stopped fighting for me. Victor didn't answer. You told me he walked away. Still nothing. You told me he chose his pride over me. Her voice broke. You lied. Victor finally looked up. Claire, you don't understand what was at stake. What did you do? Enough to protect you. You destroyed my relationship. I protected your future. She stared at him. What did you do with his messages? Victor's silence answered her. Claire stepped backward. Dad, you were young. I loved him, and he would have destroyed everything. Her eyes filled, but she didn't cry. Instead, she picked up the papers. You made me believe he abandoned me. Victor's voice hardened. Because if you had married him, you would have lost everything. Claire stood completely still. Then she whispered something I never heard. Maybe I already did. She walked out carrying the proof. And somewhere inside that mansion, the lie that had controlled her life for 7 years finally began to collapse. The first thing Claire did when she entered my office was place a stack of papers on my desk. The second thing she did was take off her engagement ring. I hadn't seen that ring in 7 years. I found everything. I stared at the papers. Then you finally know. Her fingers trembled. I know you tried to reach me. I leaned back in my chair. I tried for weeks. I know. I came to your house. I know. I waited outside. Her eyes filled with tears. I know. That should have felt satisfying. It didn't. Knowing she finally understood couldn't give me back those nights. It couldn't erase the way I had stood outside her mansion, believing the woman I loved had chosen to forget me. Claire placed another document on my desk. My father paid you to disappear. I picked it up. The offer was there in black and white. A large amount of money. A condition. Leave Claire forever. My signature was missing. I refused. Claire's lips parted. You never took the money? No. Then why didn't you keep fighting? I gave a tired smile. Because I thought you chose him. Her face tightened. You thought I chose my father? You stood in front of me and told me loving me was a weakness. I was scared. So was I. I pushed the papers back toward her. The difference is that I thought you had made your choice. She lowered her head. I was proud. You were afraid. I was both. Her voice became quieter. I thought if I lost my family, I would have nothing. You had me. She closed her eyes. I know. No, Claire. You know that now. I stood and walked toward the window. Back then, you didn't. She followed me with her eyes. What do you want from me? Nothing. That can't be true. It is. I turned. You didn't just lose me, Claire. You lost the version of me who believed love could survive anything. Her face broke slightly. I hated that it still affected me. I hated that some part of me still wanted to comfort her. Then my phone rang. My CFO's voice came through. The Falcon contract is in danger. I straightened. Why? 3 investors withdrew overnight. Someone sent them documents claiming we're hiding losses. Those documents are fake. I know. I looked at Claire. She already understood. Victor. She nodded slowly. I warned you he wouldn't stop. I ended the call. Why help me? Because I don't want to become him. That answer stayed with me. 2 hours later, my legal team confirmed the attack. Victor wasn't trying to compete with my company. He was trying to crush it. He wanted my investors gone, my contracts canceled, and my reputation destroyed. The only might have panicked. I didn't. Freeze every unnecessary expense. My CFO nodded. Should we fight the accusations publicly? Not yet. Why? Because if Victor created the lie, he'll eventually create evidence that proves it. I gathered every contract, payment record, investor message, and financial report. Then I found something unexpected. Several companies Victor had recently attacked had disappeared from the market. Not because they failed, because they had been forced out. The pattern was too clean. I called Claire. Come to my office. She arrived 20 minutes later. I pushed the documents toward her. Do you recognize these companies? Her eyes moved across the pages. Yes. Your father bought them after their owners were pushed into bankruptcy. She swallowed. That can't be legal. It isn't. Claire turned another page. Where did you get this? One of your father's former accountants. Her fingers stopped. Daniel, don't call me that like you're warning me. I wasn't. You need to decide where you stand. She stared at the documents. Then she picked up her phone. What are you doing? Checking something. She made one call. Send me the Whitmore acquisition records from the last 5 years. She listened. No, I'm asking as an executive. Her expression changed. I'm still on the board. A pause. Then her face went pale. They removed me. I said nothing. Claire lowered the phone. My father already knows. The office door opened. Victor walked in. 2 lawyers stood behind him. Leave us. I stayed where I was. Victor's eyes moved from me to Claire. You've made a serious mistake. Claire stood. No, I made it 7 years ago. His jaw tightened. You think this man cares about you? I don't know what he cares about anymore. She glanced at me. But I know you lied to me. Victor placed a folder on my desk. Your company is finished. I opened it. Inside were accusations, legal notices, and statements from investors. I looked up. You're confident. I've spent 40 years building this empire and destroying anyone who stood near it. Victor's face hardened. Be careful. Claire stepped between us. No, you be careful. He stared at her. You're my daughter, and I won't protect you from the truth. Her hand shook as she lifted the evidence. You used illegal acquisitions. You destroyed competitors. You manipulated investors. You don't understand business. I understand what you did. Victor's voice dropped. If you continue, you lose your position. I already lost it. Your inheritance. Claire swallowed. I don't need it. You'll lose your home. Her eyes flickered. Then she steadied herself. Then I'll find another one. Victor looked at me. This is your fault. I stepped forward. Don't blame me for the choices your daughter is finally making. His expression turned cold. You've manipulated her. Claire grabbed the microphone from the table before I could answer. No. Everyone turned. She stepped beside me. My father is lying. The room went completely still. Victor stared at her. Claire lifted the documents. And I have proof. My fingers closed around the old engagement ring inside my pocket. Claire noticed. She reached into her purse and placed a ring on my desk. The diamond caught the light between us. I kept it because I thought someday you'd come back. I picked it up. The weight felt strangely familiar. Then I closed my fingers around it. I didn't put it on. I couldn't. That ring belonged to the man I had been. And that man was gone. Claire wiped her palm against her coat. I don't expect you to forgive me. Good. She nodded. I only want you to know that this time, I'm not running. I looked at the woman who once walked away from me. Now she stood beside me with no fortune no protection, and no family waiting to save her. She had finally lost everything she once feared losing. And somehow, that was when she finally understood what I had lost too. By the next morning, the Whitmore empire was falling apart. News channels were showing Victor Whitmore's name beside words like investigation, fraud, and illegal acquisitions. My lawyers wanted me to strike while he was weak. Take everything you can. I stared at the documents on my desk. No. My CFO blinked. No. We expose the truth. We protect our company. That's enough. You could destroy them. I know. And you're choosing not to. I closed the folder. Justice isn't revenge. The word surprised even me. 7 years ago, I would have wanted Victor on his knees. Now I only wanted him to stop hurting people. Claire lost her position that afternoon. She also lost her inheritance. By evening, the Whitmore mansion had become a legal battlefield. Claire came to my office after sunset. She placed a folder on my desk. These are the final documents. I opened them. Shares, properties, accounts. Everything Victor had transferred into Claire's name. You could control half the company with this. I know. Then why give it to me? Because I don't want anything built on what he did. I studied her face. You're walking away from all of it. Yes. You spent your whole life preparing for that empire. I spent my whole life believing I needed it. She sat across from me. Now I know I don't. I wanted to believe her. But trust didn't return because someone finally told the truth. It returned slowly, and mine had been broken for 7 years. Before I could answer, my phone rang. The school. Lily was sick. I was already standing before the call ended. What happened? She has a high fever. I'll be there. Claire rose immediately. Do you need help? No. I grabbed my coat. Then I saw the fear in her eyes. I'll come. Claire, I'm not asking for anything. She picked up her purse. Let me help. I didn't have time to argue. At the hospital, everything moved too quickly. A nurse took Lily away for tests while I stood outside the room, staring at the closed door. My hands wouldn't stop shaking. I had faced investors, lawsuits, powerful executives, and Victor Whitmore himself. None of them had ever scared me like watching Lily disappear behind a hospital door. Claire stood several feet away. She didn't touch me. She didn't try to comfort me with empty words. She simply stayed. After an hour, I bought coffee from the vending machine. It came out cold. I took one sip and grimaced. Claire reached for the cup. Give me that. I can drink it. You're not drinking it. She walked toward the hospital café. A few minutes later, she returned with a warm cup. She placed it in my hand. You don't have to carry everything alone anymore. I stared at the cup. Those words should have angered me. Instead, they reached somewhere I had spent years keeping locked. You don't have to do this. I know. Then why are you? She looked toward Lily's room. Because she's scared. She has doctors. She also has you. Claire paused. And you shouldn't have to be strong every second. I looked down at the warm coffee. 7 years ago, I had begged Claire to stay beside me. Tonight, she stayed without being asked. That difference mattered. Hours later, the doctor finally came out. Her fever is coming down. We want to keep her overnight for observation. My knees almost gave out. She's going to be okay? Yes. I exhaled slowly. Claire covered her mouth, and I saw her shoulders relax. When we entered the room, Lily opened her eyes. Daddy, he moved beside her. I'm here. She reached for my hand. Then she noticed Claire. You stayed. Claire smiled softly. I did. Lily's eyes grew heavy again. I like when you're here. Claire's expression changed. She turned away quickly. I followed her into the hallway. She wiped her face before I could see the tears. Don't. I wasn't going to say anything. You don't have to. She leaned against the wall. I don't want Lily to see me crying. Why? Because tonight isn't about me. That sentence stayed with me. She wasn't trying to win me back. She wasn't asking for forgiveness. She was simply there. Later, while Lily slept, Claire and I sat beside the hospital window. I don't deserve another chance. I didn't answer. I know what I did. She folded her hands. And I know saying sorry can't return those years. You're right. I don't want to erase them. Her voice shook. I want to earn whatever comes next. I watched the lights outside. What if I can't forgive you? Then I'll accept that. What if I never love you again? She took a slow breath. Then I'll live with that too. I turned toward her. Why are you still here? Because leaving when things become painful is what I used to do. She held my gaze. I don't want to be that woman anymore. Something inside me shifted. Not enough to forget. Not enough to trust completely. But enough to see her clearly. I wasn't looking at the heiress who had walked away from me. I was looking at a woman who had finally chosen truth after losing everything built on lies. I still have feelings for you. Claire's breath caught. But feelings aren't enough. I know. If we ever try again, you don't get to make me prove that I'm worth loving. Her eyes softened. You won't. You don't get to choose your family over me and call it sacrifice. I won't. And I won't spend another day begging to be chosen. Claire nodded. I'll never ask you to. I reached for her hand. I hesitated before our fingers touched. She didn't pull away. Neither of us promised forever. Maybe that was why the moment felt real. Before dawn, Claire stood beside Lily's hospital bed one last time. Then she turned toward me. I should go. I nodded. She walked toward the door. I wanted to stop her. I didn't. Not yet. The door closed behind her. Lily stirred beneath the blanket. Daddy, I'm here. Her sleepy eyes found mine. Is Claire going to stay this time? I looked at the closed door. My heart wanted one answer. My fear wanted another. I had spent 7 years learning how to live without Claire. I just didn't know if I was ready to learn how to live with her again. Claire called me before sunrise. I need to tell you something. I sat up in bed. What happened? My father is coming after my company. I rubbed my eyes. Then I'll help. No. Her answer was calm. This is my fight. You don't have to face him alone. I do. I paused. You're sure? I spent years letting other people make my choices. Her voice softened. I won't do that anymore. That morning, Claire walked into the Whitmore boardroom alone. I wasn't there. I wanted to be. Every part of me wanted to stand beside her and make sure Victor couldn't hurt her again. But Claire had been right. If I fought every battle for her, I would only become another person making decisions for her. So I waited. Hours later, my phone buzzed. A video had gone live. Claire stood at the Whitmore headquarters with legal documents in her hands. Victor stood across from her. You're making a mistake. I've made enough of those. You have no idea what you're giving up. Claire placed the documents on the table. I know exactly what I'm giving up. The company. Yes. Your inheritance. Yes. Your family name. Her eyes stayed steady. I don't need any of them to know who I am. Victor stepped closer. Without this family, you're nothing. Claire's hands tightened. No, Dad. She pushed the documents forward. Without this family controlling me, I can finally become something of my own. I watched the video in silence. She signed the papers. Then she stood. I reject the inheritance. Victor stared at her. You'll regret this. Maybe. She took one breath. But I'll regret it as myself. The video ended. I sat back. Claire had finally made the choice I once begged her to make. Not choosing me, choosing herself. And somehow, that mattered more. 3 months passed. My company survived the Whitmore attack. We secured the Falcon contract and opened 2 new offices. Victor's empire continued shrinking under legal pressure. I never touched what wasn't mine. Claire started a small consulting company from a rented office. No mansion, no private driver, no family money, just a desk, a laptop, and a woman learning how to build something without a famous name behind her. One evening, Lily came running into my office. Daddy, I caught her. What's happening? Claire brought cupcakes. I raised an eyebrow. How many? 6. 6. She nodded seriously. For everyone. I looked toward the doorway. Claire stood there holding a paper box. I was told 6 was acceptable. Lily nodded. It's acceptable. Claire smiled. You're very strict. I learned from Daddy. I laughed. Claire joined us at the table. She didn't try to act like Lily's mother. She didn't force affection. She simply listened. When Lily talked about school, Claire paid attention. When Lily struggled with homework, Claire helped. When Lily wanted to show us a drawing, Claire treated it like something important. Nothing felt forced. That was what slowly changed me. Claire wasn't trying to replace the past. She was building something new. One evening, Lily fell asleep on the couch between us. Claire carefully placed a blanket over her. She trusts you. Claire looked at me. I hope she always will. She does. A small smile appeared. I don't want to take your place. You couldn't. I know. She looked down at Lily. But I want a place in her life if she wants me there. I nodded. That sounds fair. Claire's eyes lifted. And you? I knew what she meant. I didn't answer immediately. I had spent months watching her actions. She never asked for my money, never demanded forgiveness, never used Lily to get closer to me. She built her own company. She faced her father. She accepted losing everything rather than returning to the lie. My anger hadn't disappeared. It had simply become quieter. It no longer controlled my decisions. I think I'm ready to stop running from the past. Claire's breath caught. Does that mean? It means we could try. She didn't smile immediately. Instead, she searched my face. Try what? Something new. She nodded slowly. I can do that. There's one condition. Anything. I don't want the old relationship back. Her expression softened. I don't either. I don't want promises based on fear. Neither do I. I don't want to be someone you choose because you're afraid of losing me. Claire reached across the table. I choose you because I want you. I let her hand rest near mine. Then I finally placed my fingers over hers. It wasn't dramatic. No music. No crowd. No perfect speech. Just two people who had survived the worst version of their love, deciding whether they could build a better one. A week later, I took Claire back to the Whitmore mansion. The place looked smaller than I remembered. We stood outside beneath the same cold lights where everything had ended. Claire looked at the steps. You came here that night with the ring. I did. I wish I could change it. You can't. I know. I reached into my coat. The old ring was inside the box. Claire's eyes followed my hand. You kept it. For a long time. I opened the box. The diamond caught the light. Claire's eyes filled with tears. I don't want that ring anymore. She looked confused. Why? Because it belongs to the man who begged you to choose him. I took the ring out. I don't want to be that man again. Then I placed it back inside the box. I closed the lid. The old ring belongs to the old version of us. Claire wiped a tear from her cheek. And what belongs to us now? Something we haven't built yet. She smiled. I like that. Lily came running down the steps. Daddy, she grabbed my hand. Then she reached for Claire's. Claire hesitated. I gave her a small nod. She took Lily's hand. We stood there together. No wealth. No empire. No promises that tomorrow would be perfect. Just a choice. My choice. I had once believed revenge meant making Claire regret losing me. I was wrong. Her regret stopped mattering when I stopped needing it. My real victory was becoming someone who could love without begging. Someone who could forgive without forgetting. Someone who could choose another person without abandoning himself. Claire squeezed my hand. I don't know what happens next. Neither do I. Are you scared? A little. She smiled. Me too. Lily swung our joined hands. Can we get ice cream? I laughed. That's your big concern? Yes. Claire laughed beside me. She's right. I looked at the two people holding my hands. For years, I had believed my greatest loss was Claire. Now I understood something different. Losing her had broken my old life. But rebuilding myself had given me a new one. And when Claire reached for my hand, I took it. Not because I needed her, because I finally wanted her. And this time, love wasn't asking me to lose myself. It was asking me to share the life I had already learned to love.